Hello, welcome to the weekly portion according to the Ramchal. And here we are right at the portion of the last chapter of the first book, Matot-Mase. And let's see what's the idea inside of the Ramchal. וידבר השם אל משה לאמור, and God spoke into Moses saying, נקום את נקמת בני ישראל, מעט ומדיינים, אחר תאסף אל עמך. Avenge the children of Israel of the Midianites, afterward shall two be gathered into the people. So God's final request towards Moses was to avenge the plague brought upon Bnei Israel by the Midianites. So after it, he would leave this physical world, even though that we know that he never died. So Moshe lo met, so he is also among these kind of tzaddik that never died. When Moses was raised in the Pharaoh's house before he fully committed to lead the Jewish people, he was unaware of his heritage, his belonging, where he belongs. However, there was an incident when Moses witnessed that this taskmaster beating a Jewish slave. So Moses intervened and killed this abuser. So those who listen to the Ramchal series with me that may recall that this kind of act was that Moses didn't kill the abuser with his bare hands. Rather, instead, he looked at him and he uttered God's name, and then this person was judged, and the guilty of himself is resulted his death. So this marked the beginning of Moses practicing the divine powers given to him by God. So it was that moment that Moses realized the power of the spoken word. Okay, so that he was trying to use these tools, spiritual tools. So the term nikom nikmat, avenge, the same expression we encounter both in the context of the Egyptian abuser and also when we are dealing with this Midianites. So this is the reason that I mentioned it. וידבר משה אל העם לאמור, יחליצו מאיתכם אנשים לצבא ויהיו על מדיין לתת נקמת השם במדין. And Moses spoke unto the people, saying, Army men from among you for the war that may go against Midian, to exclude the God's vengeance on Midian. So here, ויחליצו מאיתכם אנשים לצבא, army men from among you the war. So the tribe of, we are going to deal with this part of sentence, the tribe of Levites who served in the sanctuary didn't fight, okay, because they had this duty, but however all the other tribes did, and each of these tribes organized like 1,000 men army, okay. 1,000 למטה, לכל מטות ישראל, תשלחו לצבא. Of every tribe, 1,000, through all the tribes of Israel, שיעשן to the war. וימסרו מאלפי ישראל 1,000 למטה, 12,000 לחלוצי צבא. So they were delivered out of the thousands of Israel and the thousands of every tribe, 12,000 armed for war. וימסרו מאלפי ישראל, okay? So they were delivered out of the thousands of the tribe of Israel. So in total, the army numbered 12,100 men. However, this was like a very unique force, kind of army, as they had a spiritual leader, Moses, and personally called upon them to participate. And they engaged in the task with their entire physical and spiritual being. They were all connected to God's energies. They were thus attend to a single purpose. So as a result, no harm befell on them. So every soldiers that participated, they came out without an injury. So each soldier watched over the other, and they were very supportive warriors and not like independent soldiers. So every individual was ready to sacrifice themselves to defend and the honor of God's name. But they were taking care of each other. So ויצברו על מדיין כאשר ציווה השם את משה ויהרגו על כל זכר. And they warred against Midian, and God commanded Moses, and they slew every male. So the primary target was to kill the Midianite man, but it wasn't the Midianite woman basically who caused this spread of the plague, you would ask. So why it was very important to targeting the men at that point. ואת מלאכי מדיין הרגו על חלליהם את אוב ואת רקם ואת צור ואת חור ואת רבע המשת מלאכי מדיין ואת בלעם בן באור הרגו בחרב. And they slew the kings of Midian with the rest of their slain, Avi and Rechem, Tzur and Hur Reba, and the 5 kings of Midian, and Bilam also, the son of Beor, they slew with the sword. There is this mentioned here that the 5 kings of the Midians were killed. They had to witness the destruction of their own nation. Both Bilam and Balak also met the end by the sword. So Bilam, who was a sorcerer and a magician, had repeatedly managed to avoid being killed by the sword through his magic. But according to the Zohar, for instance, he could even had the ability to fly. Okay, so you have to understand what kind of magic he was doing. Okay, it's not that everyone could perform it. However, he could not escape the fate that God had destined for him. So this army, this 12,000 people led by Pinchas, who was deeply connected to holiness. Okay, the Torah explicitly mentions that Bilam was killed by the sword and not by God's holy name, as he didn't merit such a kind of death. Okay, we were making a parallel version of the Egyptian that was killed by the power of just only saying one of God's name, and then the judgment came upon him. And the Bilam, he wasn't serving that this was kind of an honor for him, so that's why he received to be killed by the sword and not by one of the name of God. This was the idea here. And then we shall continue, okay? וחצית את הכוח בין תובשי המלחמה, רוצים לצבא בין כל העדה. And divide the prey into 2 parts between the men killed in war that were out of the battle and all the congregation. So when the 12,000 soldiers returned from this campaign against the Midianites, they brought back numerous spoils. Items were shared equally among the tribes. So including both those who were fought and also those that they didn't. So to add to this as positive spiritual value, okay, because spoils, it doesn't sound that you're taking for other people. And there was kind of like a portion was given to the Kohanim to elevate that kind of energies. And they are differentiating those who participated in the battle were required to give like a smaller share to the Kohanim, and those who hadn't, they gave a much more share to the Kohen out of their items. So why did the army gathered by Moses and led by Pinchas that achieved kind of victory? So what was the reason? So the Creator supported his chosen people, obviously. And also this kind of the Maser, the tax that the offering was given to the Kohanim, it also signifying that also the warriors acknowledged that it was only with God's help that they were able to defeat the Midianites. Okay, so this is kind of taking a spiritual thought. So an average soldier might easily thought that he achieved victory by his own strength or courage or mindset, so it could have inflected his ego. However, like this special Jewish army, 12,000 men, were all soldiers of the Creator, and they won because they were spiritually supported, and they admitted it by giving the share to the Kohanim. So on a physical level, and the soldiers basically it manifested this kind of idea on the physical level that was also known in the spiritual realms. Yes, and then we go into the another portion because it's double portion this Shabbat. צו את בני ישראל ואמרת להם כי אתם באים אל הארץ כנען, זאת הארץ אשר תופל להם בנחלה הארץ כנען לגבולותיה. Command the children of Israel and say unto them, when ye come into the land of Canaan, this shall be the land that shall fall unto you for inheritance, even the land of Canaan, according to the borders thereof. So the Creator sought Moses addresses the Jewish people with a command to conquer the Holy Land and divide among the 12 tribes. So among the tribes, so not all the tribes received part because those that were involved in the Holy Temple didn't receive any land as well. So the act of conquiring the Holy Land is directly related to the level of holiness that is Kedusha. So being within or outside of the Holy Land, it is very determining each spiritual power. The sacred territory is determining obviously a higher spiritual level if you are within, and if you are out, you have a lower level. So here the Torah emphasizes the importance and how and where we should establish these boundaries. Okay, the weekly portion draws our attention to this matter, highlighting that we will draw and define our own borders, reflecting and affects our spiritual status. So the proper delineation of these borders is very crucial for maintaining and elevating our spiritual connection, adherence to the holiness, the level of holiness. So this was for today, and have a nice weekend and Shabbat Shalom. Bye-bye.